This car represents the future of Mazda, but what's under the bonnet could also represent the future of the internal combustion engine as we know it. It's called Skyactiv X, and it's the next step in the evolution of petrol-powered engines, at least in Mazda's view. It uses compression ignition, the process of igniting the fuel and air mixture inside the combustion chamber of an engine without a spark plug, which in theory produces a cleaner and more efficient burn that reduces fuel economy. It has been the goal of several car companies to make compression ignition work on a petrol engine, but it has so far proven elusive as it doesn't work properly under certain conditions, most significantly from a cold start. So in order to solve this problem, Mazda still uses a spark plug, but only in selected conditions. Mazda calls this newly developed technology spark-controlled compression ignition. The new engine also incorporates a supercharger to ensure enough air is rammed into the combustion chamber. According to the data provided by Mazda, during our test drive, the spark plug was only used less than 10% of the time. So the majority of the journey used compression ignition. So the big question is, what is Skyactiv X like to drive? What is it actually like in the real world? Well, the reality is it's not very different. We're driving these prototype Mazda 3s, but the reality is it still feels like a Mazda 3. It doesn't feel night and day. It's not a huge change in terms of how the engine performs or anything. It's just an evolutionary step. The impressive thing about it is that it just works. There is a little bit more torque. You notice a bit more bottom end. It feels a bit more stronger off the mark than the current Mazda 3. And there is some issues in terms of the final calibration. This car is still a little bit away from actually being production ready, so there's still a few kinks to be ironed out. A little bit of pinging under hard acceleration and a little bit of stuttering as you drive along, but overall, it's definitely a clear step forward in terms of the way it drives. But the biggest question is, what difference does it make in terms of fuel economy? The benefits of this new system could be a 20% fuel saving over Mazda's already efficient Skyactiv G petrol engines. Mazda will begin rolling out Skyactiv X in 2019 as part of its sustainable Zoom 2030 vision. It believes that a super efficient internal combustion engine can be better for the environment in terms of CO2 emissions than even electric cars, if the EV draws its power from a non-renewable energy source, such as a coal-fired power station. Mazda also believes that it can sell more Skyactiv X engines than EVs, which will make a bigger difference to the environment in the short term. It's a bold attempt from Mazda and goes against the plans of most of its rivals, which are moving towards electric vehicles. But based on our initial drive and the potential fuel economy benefits, Skyactiv X may be a gamble that pays off for both Mazda and the planet.